Hey you guys, what is going on? It is your good guy here, PrinceOnyx. Excuse me, I have cough drops in my mouth because again my voice was running a little dry today, but I'm gonna get through it. So anyway, this is your good guy PrinceOnyx, and I am here to give my long-awaited, not debut, my long-awaited review for Empire. I finally wrote the notes, and you're not only going to get Empire review, you're going to get the Rosewood review and the Minority Report review. Of course, all three will be separate videos. So let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? So, with Empire, episode 5, season 2, we start off with the news breaking that, the charges, of course, have been dropped against Lucius, and everybody at Empire is celebrating because, A, they get to keep their jobs, and, the boss is back. So it's a big celebration, and everybody's happy, blase blase, drinks, food, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. So Andre then walks in, and he, gives that expression on his face like he's being welcomed back home again, and it really feels good to just, it feels good to be back after, after the trials and tribulations of not knowing if he was going to come back or not. It just feels so good for him to finally be back home, and it's welcoming. So Lucius, of course, welcomes his son back, and he then takes him to the meeting room. But before he takes him to the meeting room, he lets him know that he is not the executive. No, he's the boss of the label Gutter Life Records, which Lucius has revamped, and that he has signed Frida, a new artist, which he will meet later on. Of course, he didn't meet her in this episode, but he probably meets her maybe in the next episode, or he probably meets her in passing, like they probably just like wrote that in there that he met her eventually or whatever. So there's that. So Thirsty lets him know that there are reporters outside who are waiting for Lucius to give a statement. And so Lucius then asks, I think he either asked Andre or Thirsty, he asked one of them for their phones, and he ends up recording a press release, if you will, basically saying that, blah blah blah, all the charges were dropped against me, it is what it is, fuck what y'all thought, fuck what you heard, I'm back, bitches, blah blah blah. So now in the midst of recording that, we then see meanwhile at Ghetto S Studios, aka Lion Dynasty, Tiana is doing a photo shoot with Cookie, and Cookie is on the side on the sidebar, just playing around with her phone because she's trying to fix it, because Portia, who she recently fired because of what happened last episode, she put a whole bunch of like alerts and messages in the phone. So after the shoot, Tiana the Cookie hands Tiana the phone and asks her if she can fix it, and that's when the video of Lucius pops up. They watch the video as Hakeem is coming in with his new artist Laura, who is the replacement for the Latino girl group Menage a Trois. So let's see. Meanwhile, let me go back up because I typed up my notes. Which, to be honest with y'all, on a side note, I typed up my notes, which is it's eco-friendly because I typed up the notes and I didn't print them out or use any more notebook paper. So in a sense, it's eco-friendly. So I typed up my notes for once. And to be honest with you, I think that's what I'm probably going to stick to doing, is typing up the notes, because I can type really fast, 60 words per minute, and when I can with me typing, it's better than me having to I still look I look at the screen, as I look at the screen, I put it on pause, type what I gotta type, unpause it, all that stuff. But it's better than, because when you are writing for a long period of time, your hand starts to hurt, and it's like I refuse to give myself carpal tunnel just to do my notes, for my reviews. You know what I'm saying? It's really not worth it, so I just type up my notes. But anyway, back to the review. So, meanwhile at Empire, Andre is officially welcomed back home and welcome to Gutter Life Records in the meeting room, as Becky asks him, "Are you ready to get gutter with us?" And it's pretty much, it's a party. Okay, you got strippers, dancers, you got random dudes and girls, and everybody got drinks and just having fun. And of course, Lucius tells them, "Oh, this is your new employer. This is the boss, Andre, my son." And pretty much he got the dancers all on him. But of course, Andre ain't really feeling it, and he looks over at Lucius you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Next, we have Jamal, who is in the studio recording with Lucius, with Lucius's help, with his help, and with, of course, I think he was the only guest star. No, it was the other guy. He was a guest star too. Yeah. So he's anyway. I'm getting ahead of myself. Jamal's in the studio with Lucius and Neo, and pretty much he's recording a new song. And Lucius stops him when he hits the chorus the second time, because he tells him that he needs to really feel when he like sings it, because I think it was like a love song, like "Born to Love You" or something like that. Like yeah, it was "Born to Love You" because the other song is "Never Love Again." So he was just like, you need to feel it when you actually say it. But Jamal just has a lot of stuff going on in his mind. He then asks Neo, who gets up, and he was like, I actually like it, I actually like it. It is what it is. Like, we can maybe work on some things a little bit. Now, I actually just looked at my notes and I realized I skipped a little part of something. Back at the Lion Dynasty, Cookie and Hakeem were talking briefly, and he was pretty much asking her if she thinks Vernon really killed himself. And she just said that, coming from where her and Lucius come from, snitches are better off killing themselves, or else somebody else is going to kill them, because they really don't know what really happened. So they're under the speculation that Vernon snitched and therefore he couldn't deal with what he did, so he killed himself. That's the speculation that they're under. So and then she just pretty much tells him that she needs him to focus, and pretty much just focus and go back into the studio, record some more songs, so he can ride this whole press wave of all this stuff that's happening at this time. Because you want to hit the ground running in a sense, and you want to hit it, touch the oven when it's hot. If anybody knows, anybody knows the analogy, like hit the stove when it's hot or some shit. Anyway, so and then she just pretty much hands him her phone, and she asks him, well, not asks him, she tells him to fix her phone as well. So there was that. So anyway, meanwhile, back at Empire, now that I can get back on track, Lucius pretty much suggests that Neo and Jamal collaborate, but the two of them are already ahead of Lucius, and they said that they actually are going to be working on a couple of songs because Neo is coming on tour with Jamal. Of course, Lucius throws shade at Cookie and basically says that, oh, she can never make the power moves that she can never make the power moves that I make, and get you in the studio with the likes of Neo, blah blah blah. However, the shade really backfired on Lucius in a sense, because if you remember last season, he was in the studio with Estelle. So I mean, Cookie worked her magic, and Cookie or whoever did. No, damn, that was Lucius. Crap. Well, listen. Either way, he throws shade at Cookie so much, but at the end of the day, Jamal knows deep down in his heart that Cookie is the only one who can really produce him. Because how, I think it was last week or the week before, Lucius was saying that, oh, you need a god to produce you. Actually, correction, he needs a goddess to produce him. And that goddess is none other than Cookie herself. Let's just be honest here. So, anyway, they are talking when Michael comes in, and he's like, honored to meet Neo because he's been to 20 of his shows, blah, 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 blah. And then Jamal says that, Michael is going on tour with them. And Lucius just gives him a look like, I'll wait till, your boyfriend leaves. It's like, Lucius, it's like, you continue to throw so much shade. It's like, you're throwing rocks at everybody else's glass house when your glass house is damn near in shards. So, who are you really hurting when you throw these subliminal shots? Anyway, Lucius suggests that, it's a bad idea to bring Michael on the road because Jamal needs to be focused and he needs to be a seducer when he's on stage, and he just needs to be very seductive and blah, blah, blah. And, Neo he is laughing it off because even he knows that Lucius's relationship advice is not the best. And he says that, if Jamal were about that life of, screwing these random dudes on the road, blah 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 blah, he could do that. But of course Jamal just says he's not about that life, which is smart thinking, because it's like, men or women, whatever, nowadays, I mean, not just nowadays, but you really could never, and still to this day can never trust anybody saying that they're clean, because child, listen, you got to show some documentation to show that you are clean. But anyway, let's just be honest. So, anyway, he pretty much says that if Jamal has the real thing, which is a real relationship and somebody to come home to, which is Michael, he doesn't see a problem with Michael going on tour with them. It is what it is. Neil, you know, he's done it both ways. He's had his girl on tour with him, and then he's gone on the road solo because he knows what it's like being on the road. You know, you do get alone, you are alone, and you end up wanting that comfort, or you know, that you know, you want to get your rocks off eventually. So he knows what it's like. So it is what it is. Anyway, we see that Andre is later meeting with the preacher, and he tells him how he is feeling so uneasy about, you know, running Gutter Life Records and just, you know, well, being welcomed back and all this stuff. Of course, the pastor thinks that this is just another test that Lucius is giving Andre, just like when he with Jennifer Hudson's character, the nurse. Which, to be honest with you, I'm wondering, are we going to see her again? Because, see, that's the... Oh, damn it. Oh, never mind. Anyway, so, because I thought I had to get up and get the door. Anyway, like I was saying, yeah, this is a side note, though, because I was watching Justin J 1232's review earlier, and he brought up a great point about how, like, you know, this is what happens when you have too many guest stars and too many, like, celebrities playing these, like, recurring, you know, guest star type of roles, because it's like, whatever happened to Jennifer Hudson's character? Like, I feel like she's gonna come back eventually, but it's like, you know, where has her character been all this time? Because if you remember, last season, Lucius practically offered to sign her to the record label as, I believe, an R&B artist. So she would be doing, you know, secular music, which is different than what she does at the church, which is, you know, choir directed and gospel music. So I'm wondering whatever happened to her. And then on top of that, yeah, it's just, you know, this is what happens when you have too many guest stars and like, you know, kind of sort of big name celebrities playing these roles. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, that's another story for another time. So let's get back to it. Andre then tells the pastor, that the preacher, pastor, whatever, he tells him that he wants to get baptized. He feels the need to get baptized in order to, you know, start life anew in a sense. It's like hitting that reset button, and now that you hit the reset button, you're now trying to figure out, okay, what can I do better this time that I fucked up on last time? So, you know, pretty much the pastor just says that he has to be committed to do this for real, because at the church they take baptism very seriously, and he tells him that in order for the baptism to take place, he needs to clean his house in the sense that he needs to confess all his wrongdoings to his family and then invite them to the event. And pretty much he in short what the preacher was telling him was, you know, you need to get it together. So yeah, you know, he just tells him you need to get it together. So meanwhile, back at the Lion Dynasty, aka Ghetto Ass Studios, Tiana is waiting for her Uber ride, which I assume she just didn't say Uber, but she said that she was waiting on her ride as the crew from the photo shoot is heading out. So she's waiting, and she's just, you know, looking on her phone, whatever, and then these two ghetto bitches come in, and then they pretty much was like, oh snap, it's Tiana, can we take a picture? Like, oh, I'm a big fan, da 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 da. So, you know, she agrees to take a picture with them, you know, being humble and being nice. And the bitch on her right pulls out a razor, a little switchblade from her tongue. Man, listen, you gotta be, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, you have to be really street and hood and gutter to know how to have a little switchblade razor under your tongue and not cut your tongue or swallow it and cut your throat. You gotta be really gutter and street to know how to do that shit. Cause child, even if I was at that level of, you know, ratchetness, even I probably wouldn't know how to do that shit. You got to be real slick, and on top of that, knowing how to talk with the thing under your tongue again. Like, you got to be real slick to do some shit like that. Anyway, she pulls out the blade, and then pretty much they rob her. They take her bag, and they pushed her on the ground, and she got up and she was shocked, and you know, it was just like, holy fuck. So then we see that she ran back upstairs to Cookie and the others. Hakeem comes in to check on her, and Hakeem's DJ, she pretty much brings over the tablet, and she's playing a video on YouTube of the two ghetto bitches with the purse, and then they're both wearing masks. And then this Hispanic guy, he gets on the camera. He's also wearing a mask, and basically what he's saying is they've been marked, which infuriates Cookie and sets her off, because it's just like, god damn, it just seems like Cookie can never win. However, when you think about it logically when you think about it, the place where Whew, I'm catching my breath. I know when I be doing these reviews, I realize that I do not be taking breaths. I just realized that. But anyway, the logic behind it is that, with Cookie and them going into the hood and, opening up shop with their studio, they should have known better. Like, you know what I'm saying? You should have had security guards there in and outside of the building. Like, I mean, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, if you really wanted to make sure everybody was safe, because it's like safety got to be number one when it comes to setting up shop in certain locations. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I feel that logically they should have had security there because, one, you got Hakeem, you got Tiana, you got V, you got, Cookie, who people automatically assume that Cookie has money because she's Lucius Lyon's ex-wife. Come on now. I mean, we've seen her fashions. We've seen how she dresses, the hair, the clothes, everything. I mean, think about it. The inside of that studio was looking way different, in the past couple episodes than it is now. So it's like, come on now. She should have known better. That's all. It's just, and I just hate how the writing, I feel like, is so against Cookie in a sense, because it's like she can never win, and it sucks. I feel like she can never win. But anyway, you guys, let's continue. So pretty much, Cookie just says that she's going to get a handle on this issue before things get worse. Anyway, next we see the Jamal, Michael, and the crazy weirdo photographer. I don't even know if that guy even had a name. But anyway, they are at the club and they're looking at pictures that people have sent in of them taking like selfies in front of the poster of Jamal, the artwork that the photographer slash painter had redid with, like, after Hakeem had stabbed it and they had pretty much put like the mark across his neck or whatever. So yeah, they're just reviewing the pictures, and Jamal says that he would love to take the artwork on tour with him. And, pretty much the photographer was just like, you know what, we can do that, but we need another drink. Because, so just pretty much getting lifted, getting lit, getting drunk. And the photographer pretty much talks about gay marriage and how he believes it's all just a scam, and how, gays getting married is just like simply following the heteronormative of relationships with, the man and woman, and how, Michael, he really didn't understand that. And so Jamal was explaining to him how basically what the photographer was saying is, it's just like how people ask gay couples who's the man and who's the woman. So, he pretty much was just, they were pretty much talking about, like, their thoughts and opinions on that. And that was a very interesting conversation that the writers put into this episode, because it was just, it's like, art is a reflection of life. So, I mean, like, if there are people out there who feel the way that the photographer feels, it's interesting that they put that piece of dialogue into this episode. So later and he also pretty much talked about how, like, Michael going on the road with Jamal is basically like, it's like he was basically, the photographer was saying that, relationships are the death to creativity, and why is it that we're hiding our feelings, our true nature? In the sense, he was saying that, like, he was what was he doing? The photographer was leaning on saying, he was leaning on saying how, like, historically human beings have always been into polygamy, and instead of being monogamous, they have been into polygamous relationships, being in relationships with more than one person. And he says that that's the natural order, the natural way of things, and basically just saying that if he was like, because the photographer was basically telling Jamal that, oh yeah, I've been in love before several times. And it's just like, you could just look at the photographer and tell that he's a hoe. You can tell that he gets around in the industry. You can just look at him and tell that. So it is what it is. So then we see the photographer and Jamal walking in the hallway, and then pretty much the photographer stops him and pushes him up against the wall and tries to give him oral. But of course Jamal ain't rolling like that. And Michael walks in with the shocked look on his face. Jamal is of course pissed. He zips up his pants and they walk off. And then the photographer says a mouth is a mouth. You know what? Yeah, a mouth is a mouth, but guess what? A disease is a disease. Am I right or am I right? That's what I thought. Anyway, moving forward. So meanwhile, we are back at Lion Dynasty, where Cookie is showing this promoter named by the name of Laz. Yeah, Laz, L-A-Z. She is showing him the intro video to Lion Dynasty with the artists that they have, and she says that, she pretty much breaks down everything business-wise going on and lets him know that there are other acts on the label who she can't really name just yet because the paperwork has not dried. So, She then pretty much breaks down everything to him and tells him like how he's the first out of 5 other promoters who didn't just run when she had who just didn't run after she had said, well, not after she said, but who didn't run after, run off because they found out what happened to Tiana getting robbed. But of course, Laz, he says that he isn't afraid of, he isn't afraid to back down to these criminals and these thugs because he understands what's going on because you are Lucius Lyon's ex-wife. So people, of course, are going to think you have money and this is why you've been marked. Basically, he's here to fix the situation. And he is the other guest star in the episode. The actor's name is, I believe, Adam Rodriguez. Y'all can correct me on that if I'm wrong. He was the same actor who was in the film with Taraji P. Henson, I Can Do All Bad by Myself by Tyler Perry. So I believe his name is Adam Rodriguez. And it was reports that came out way back when, a few months ago, saying that he was going to be on the show as a singer. But I guess that's not the case because he's a club / tour / party promoter, so I guess that's not the case of him being a singer. But I mean, unless they write that in there, which I feel like could be a little cheesy, but it is what it is. So pretty much, yeah, they just are having a conversation when Portia walks in with the dog, I think it was her grandmother's dog, and she pretty much is trying to get her job back, and Cookie just tells her, "Girl, go, get out of my face." And then eventually she gives in and she says that Portia is hired back on probationary status. And something told me that Portia's character was going to get hired back because this season, her character along with Becky's character, they have been promoted to main characters. So they are no longer the recurring roles. They have the primary role. They are in with everybody else who's the main star. So next we see that back at Empire, Andre is talking to Rhonda as they are in the office for Gutter Life Records. He's talking to her about getting baptized and oh damn. Anyway, here you go. I'm about to turn this on. You ain't got nothing on.
I'm about to turn my heat on. Why don't you plug plug it over there?
Yeah.
So we won't be on the same circuit.
Alright.
But it has to go into the wall, not the.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Oh damn it. Un momento. Let me just do something right quick. Damn it. Alrighty, and I am back. So, like I was saying, pretty much, he was talking to Rhonda about how, like, getting baptized and inviting the family, of course, and she's against inviting them because she pretty much, she really does not like them, and so she asks, what are these, sins that he's going to tell them, because she has it in her mind to where she thinks that, Andre is going to possibly tell them about how she murdered Vernon, blah, blah, blah. But of course, Andre is not going to rat her out because then he's going to end up ratting himself out as well because they both practically covered up this murder. You know what I mean? So, breathe in, breathe out. So, pretty much there's that. And then she pretty much tells him that, you don't need forgiveness. And, she tries to basically get freaky with him in the office, telling him that she's not wearing any panties. But Andre, he turns down the offer because he's just like, what if somebody walks in? Let's just wait till we get home to do that. So she sits down and she has like this look on her face. And it almost looks as if she could be lying about her being pregnant. Because it's like, Andre was just like, oh, I love you and we're going to have a baby. And then, he walks back over to the boxes and he's continuing to unbox stuff and fix up the office. So, I really peeped at how she has a look on her face like, she's really lying. You know what I'm saying? So, there's that. Anyway, Cookie and Lucius are at the funeral home and they are debating over Vernon Ashes, who wants them. He doesn't want them, she doesn't want them, and then she brings up how Bunky was practically shaking Lucius down back in the past, and she asks if he got Vernon killed. Of course, he denies because, and he's actually, Lucius, for once in Lucius's life, he's actually telling the truth. So, Then we see that Cookie pretty much says that, and Cookie says that everybody that they grew up with, that they came up with, and built this empire with, damn near everybody who they knew is now dead and gone. Dead or in jail or whatever, or both, whatever the case is. And then he pretty much brings up what happened to Tiana, which causes Cookie to think that he had something to do with it, and she just lets him know that if you did have something to do with it, I'm gonna fuck you up. She didn't exactly say that, but again, if you had something to do with this, I'm gonna fuck you up, because Tiana is my artist. This is my label that I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Because he basically was almost taunting her and making fun of her, saying that, oh, you don't have me around to help you, and it's just like, bitch, who the fuck are you, nigga? Anyway, like I was saying, what else happened? I'm thinking, well, I'm on 25 minutes, so I might have to shorten this review a little bit, because y'all know me, when it comes to PrinceOnyx, I am very detailed. I know I've been lacking in my past videos. This semester in school has been very difficult for me, and of course, post-production for confusion. Just a lot of shit going on, y'all. Like, it's been driving me mad. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So, what else happened? So yeah, pretty much Lucius walks off, and Cookie takes the box of burning ashes, and I guess she takes them to her house, or she probably gives them to her sister Carol, who I guess back in the day had a crush on Vernon, according to Lucius. Next, we see that Andre walks into Lucius's office, and he sees that Thirsty is there, and Thirsty says that he's basically replacing the position that Vernon had. And he says that, well, of course, Andre really does not trust him at all, and he has a right to not trust this guy at all, because he's a very shady and shiesty lawyer and just a street nigga at the end of the day. And so he pretty much tells him that I need you to get out of my father's office and, put that glass down on the table and leave. And of course, Thirsty brings up Anika and Cookie, and how Lucius, he still wants those masters and the unfinished tracks from Lion Dynasty. And Andre pretty much says that he will never do anything to hurt his mother. Now Andre, yes, he is a fucked up individual, but even he would never do anything to hurt his mother, because it's like, listen, the sons, they know what's going on between the parents. It's just, why would they bother putting not just their parents but themselves at risk? You know what I'm saying? So, Andre just like, yeah, I am in good standing with my mother, but I'm not going to talk to her in order to, I'm not going to talk to her in order to get the masters from her. And, just like, I'm not going to do no fucked up shit just because, just for Lucius ass. You know what I'm saying? So I shout out to Andre for standing up for once. For standing up for what's right for once. Next, we see that Neo and Jamal are recording a new song, which is the one Never Love Again, in the studio. And Jamal is too busy thinking about what happened the night before with the photographer and Michael, and just, he got a lot of shit going on in his head. But of course, Neo, he stops the track and tells him to get it together and get focused. And that, it's okay to bring Michael on tour, because he believes that if this is what Jamal really wants, then do it. Fuck it, do it. Forget what Lucius says. And he basically reassures Jamal, and Jamal feels better, and they play the track back and re-record it. But of course he not asks, but he takes Lucius's phone, and he's just like, okay, let me go ahead and haha, thank you. Anyway, Cookie goes ahead and I'm not Cookie, Neo took his phone, and he's just like, we don't need you getting any more distracted. So next we see that Jamal is having a party. Jamal and Hakeem are having separate parties at the same time, and Hakeem is dancing with the Latino girl group individually, and then he tries to put the moves on Laura, who then takes it the wrong way, and it's just like, she swerves him. She swerves him and just, walks off and lets him know she's not that type of girl, and she leaves. Next, we see Jamal at his party that he's having, and he's talking to Becky about going on tour with Neo and all this stuff that he got going on. And, Jamal is drunk, and he is, you can tell he is lifted. So then we see that, because he asks where Michael is at, and Becky says that, oh, I believe he's out on the balcony. So he goes to get Michael when he sees that Michael is getting head from the photographer. The photographer gets up, and he's like, oh, I thought you two had discussed this. Basically, I guess he thought that Michael and Jamal have like an open relationship, I guess. And then Jamal is pissed. He pushes the photographer up against the wall, tells him to get the hell out before he, throws him over the edge. And, Becky, she just, She comes to the door and she looks at what's going on and she's just like, no, this motherfucker didn't. And she, you know, scares off the photographer just like, Ugh. So, you know, that was pretty cute. I like that. So next we see that Cookie is talking to Laz about tours and other business moves, yada yada yada, when all of a sudden they hear some noises. Now come to find out, it's some thugs who had broke in, who Thirsty has sent some thugs to come in and pretty much fuck with Cookie, and she's just like, you know what, not today. So, you know, she has her gun, and surprisingly enough, Laz, he has his gun, and they both pretty much just aim it at the guys, and they just like, get the hell out, drop the box, you know, I see that y'all still trying to steal my masters, tell Lucius he can kiss my black ass, and that's just that. And you know, again, it's like, see, here's the thing, Thirsty gonna end up getting, I feel like Thirsty gonna end up getting fucked up, because here's the thing, one thing about Lucius is, even though he's a fucked up individual, you do not fuck with his family. So the fact that you sent these thugs who could have possibly hurt Cookie, listen, Thirsty might end up getting executed next, because you know Lucius don't play that shit. Him and Cookie they may be at odds with each other, but at the end of the day, you know, they still low-key are ride or die for each other. And when you fuck with one of his family members, you gonna feel the burn, alright? You're gonna feel the roar of a motherfucking lion. And that's just that. So, anyway, moving forward. Jamal and Hakeem and Andre meet up, and they meet up at Jamal's place. It's the day after the party. Becky was on the couch asleep, and they are talking. They pretty much, Andre brought them together to confess his sins and his wrongdoings. He explains what he did, you know, what happened last season, and how he, you know, sent those guys to the studio where Jamal was. And you know, both Jamal and Hakeem are, at first they're pissed and they're shocked, because it's like, damn, you could have got Jamal killed. And it's just like, you know, Andre just like, let me talk, let me do this, I can, you know, let me talk, let me explain myself. And he kind of sort of raises his voice a little bit. So then let's see. Of course, he invites them to the baptism, to the event. Jamal refuses because he does not want to deal. He does not want to have to deal with homophobic slurs or anything being thrown at him in the church, because you know how the black church is towards homosexuality. But Andre just tells him to, you know, come to the baptism, and that he will talk to the pastor or whatever, so that nothing, you know, there's no controversy being stirred up. Next, we see that pretty much Hakeem says he'll go, and then eventually, you know, Andre, he does convince Jamal to come to the event because he wants to heal the family. Again, Andre wants to hit that reset button and start things over, live life anew, come out born again. So next, we see that Andre talks to Lucius about what Thirsty did with Lion Dynasty. Lucius, of course, ain't trying to hear that shit, you know, about and about how it's wrong, blah blah blah. Andre then tries to invite him to the not to the studio. He then tries to invite him to the event, but of course Lucius refuses, and he says that there is no. Oh, excuse me. He says that there is no God. And then, you know, Andre confesses his wrongdoings towards him and says how he tried to kill himself not last week, how he tried to kill himself last season in the studio, and just, you know, he confesses all his wrongdoings. But of course, Lucius, you can tell by the look on his face, he really is not here for that. So it is what it is. Next, we see the Hakeem, because this is the day of the day of the baptism. I had to remember. This is the day of the baptism, and Hakeem is driving there when he sees Laura walking down the street, and he stops, gets out the car, he apologizes for what he did, and he just lets her know that he really does need her in this girl group because he believes in her, and now that he's trying to be like a little business mini mogul, you know, he's going to do better. And so he offers to have Laura take the car, and he goes to catch a cab. So then, I'm sorry, I almost choked on my cough drop. I ain't gotta have my glass no more. It's clear. This ain't no name brand. Anyway, back to what I was doing. So yes, Hakeem catches a cab, and then next we see that Frida is in the studio recording a song, and she's having a very difficult time recording, and Lucius pretty much talks one-on-one to her and says that she needs to stop running from her problems, i.e. her father being dead. And of course, you know, she gets up after they talk for a little bit, because at first she was pissed that he made that comment about her father, She gets up and goes back to recording, and she records with more passion, which surprisingly it inspires Lucius to go to the baptism. So meanwhile, at the church, Cookie is, removing the lint off of Andre's robe, and they talk, and she's pretty much saying how, like, don't ever say that stop saying that you're a bad person. We've all done some messed up stuff in life. Let's move on. It is what it is. So, she pretty much walks off and goes to sit down with Hakeem and Jamal, and they sit across from Rhonda because Rhonda, she's, sitting across from them because I guess, she's separating herself from them because she really does not. She really does not like the family at all, and it's well known. Like, she doesn't like them, and for the most part, they don't like her. So it's like, girl, listen, bitch, we wouldn't care if your ass dropped off the face of the earth. To be honest with you, we really would not fucking care. So it is what it is, bitch. Anyway, and I'm not apologizing for what I said. So anyway, Cookie makes a joke about Lucius being the devil, and she basically said that, if he came in here, this whole place might set on fire. I said, damn. That was funny. So, surprisingly enough, oh yeah, they also talked about Jamal and what's going on with him and how she still supports him regardless of the things going on. And then, all of a sudden they see that Lucius pops up in the church, and they all turn around. Everybody turns around, including the family, and they just like, oh damn. So he goes up and introduces himself to the pastor, and then he goes to sit down. Hakeem, he moves himself to the back to sit behind the pew. Sit behind Cookie, and then so it's just Jamal, Lucius, and Cookie, and then Hakeem in the back, and Rhonda, of course, sitting across from them. And Cookie and Lucius go back and forth because she pretty much tells him that you need to stop sending those thugs after me and my masters. You need to leave us alone, stop harassing us, blah blah blah. And of course, Rhonda and a couple other people look over at them like, damn, y'all really talking during this event? And she just tells them to shh. She shushes them, and as the event begins, Lucius starts to have flashbacks of when his mother almost drowned him in the bathtub as a child. So this triggers, because I believe that Lucius has PTSD, which is something that I also agree with what Justin said, that he does have PTSD because and if it seems like I've been talking a little bit louder, it's because I got the fan on in the background. Even when I have this fan on low, it does seem to almost overpower my voice. So, if it seems like I've been talking louder, then, y'all will know why. But anyway, he pretty much, I believe that he has PTSD because of what happened with his mother, who had bipolar disorder. So, I love these flashbacks because I feel like Kelly Rowland is the only character, her playing Lucius's mother, it fits the show. But all these other random people, no. Like, unless they're an artist like Neo in the studio with Jamal, or Adam Rodriguez's character, who's the club promoter who is going to develop a relationship with Cookie, then that's all right. But anyway, yeah, so Lucius ends up getting up and leaving, which leaves Andre to feel hurt. But it's all said and done because he's purified now. He's and he's walking in his new truth. He's walking in the light of God, and everything is a-okay. So as we wrap up the episode, we then later see Hakeem is jogging by himself, which, when you think about it logically, he's a big name. He's a big-time celebrity in this fictional world. Why would he be by himself with no bodyguards, no security at all? That makes no sense. Again, the writing is getting very sloppy and messy, and not in a, oh, that's funny or that's cute type of messy way, in a sense where logically shit is not adding up. Like, you should at least have a couple of security guards jogging with you or something. You're out in a public domain. Anyway, needless to say, Hakeem ends up getting he gets jumped and then kidnapped by the same motherfuckers who robbed Tiana. It's the Hispanic guy and two of his boys. They throw him in a van, close the door, and drive off. And child, listen, all I'm gonna say is next week's episode, well, no, because the World Series, I believe, comes on this week, so it'll be the week after this one. That episode, Lucius and Cookie are about to go on some Kill Bill type shit, because it's like, again, when you fuck with one of Lucius's people, you're going down. That's all I'm gonna say. You're going down. So, I cannot wait to see what happens with that episode, because shit is about to get real. But anyway, thank you all for watching this review, and I apologize for the delay again. Listen, I am in school and I am at work as well, also dealing with post-production for Confusion, and we're almost done. And Of course, I'm about to start writing the draft for the first draft for Confusion 2, the sequel. So it's a lot going on. So, don't feel like if it feels like I am lacking because I am, like, there are reasons why. It's not like, oh, I just don't want to record, fuck it. No, it's never like that. It's real life shit going on. I got a lot going on, and I thank you all so much for your patience, your time, and your kindness. And again, without all of y'all, my kings, my queens, princes and princesses, listen, I would not be here, and I would not be rising up like I slowly but surely am. And I want to thank you all again so very much, and have a very wonderful evening. And this is PrinceOnyx signing off, and I will be back with my other 2 reviews coming at you. Bam. Thank you all so much. Peace. Hey.